Okay, so welcome back everybody. I'm going to do another tag tutorial today, and we're going to have a go at a version of this one. When I made these originals they were double-sided, but we're going to make this single-sided, but we're going to keep it as a pocket tag. Let's get started. I haven't really prepared much, so we'll take it step by step. I'm going to make two versions as we do this. So for this original one I used a time card, and we just need to, it measures 3 1/8 across, and I'm just going to cut it down to a reasonable length. So I'm just going to use these lines here and cut this off here. So that should be straight enough, and that measures, sorry my big arm's in the way, actually they're quite little arms but they look big under the camera. So that measures 6 3/4 by 3 3/8. And then for the second tag I've folded over an Edith Holden page, and again that measures 3 3/8. I did cut it down slightly here, and I'm going to cut this off to the same length, and I've doubled this over just so that we get a bit more strength. So to do that I'm just going to literally cut that off, and then I've cut, so these are going to be our top layers. Put that to one side. These are going to be our top layers, and I don't want them too busy because I'm going to put a fussy cut flower onto them. And then for the backing I've cut strips of card 3 3/8, and this is for the other side of the pocket, so we just cut those down as well. So these will be the same, 3 3/8 by 6 3/4. Okay, so that's going to be one pocket, this is going to be the other pocket, and then I've cut these two pieces to make this central journal card, really, is what it will be if you decide to put it in your journals. And those two pieces measure 3 inches by 6 inches. So we'll come back to those. Right, so to put these together, I stitched them. The first thing I want to do is, with this book page, I want to glue it together. So I'm just going to use glue stick for that. It's always horrible covering up any of the Edith Holden pages, but anyway, we won't remember that that's there, so that'll be fine. So the first thing to do is to just check that these are matching and that eventually we can stitch round. But what I want to do first, my first task, is to choose a flower that we can die cut, not die cut, that we can fussy cut to put on there. And I've actually picked these two designs from a whole series that I've got by these are from Tsunami Rose, and they're gorgeous, absolutely lovely. I did think about that one. The reason I haven't chosen that one is because the colour is all at the top and there's not a huge amount at the bottom, whereas with these two we get colour coming down the tag. Okay, so when I fussy cut this out, I want it to go more or less across the whole of this card. So this side is going to be cut out completely, and then this side we don't need to bother cutting these little bits out, we'll just go in from here. When I'm fussy cutting these sort of designs, I take my time. I use small scissors for the outside edge, and for these inside bits I do like these cut out, and for those I will use a craft knife. So what I'm going to do now, because obviously that's quite dull to watch, I'm going to go away, fussy cut out my designs. I'm going to use, I don't know actually which side I'm going to use for this one at the moment. I probably will stick with the pink so that we're in a similar colourway for both of them, but I'll have a think about that. But again, we only really need one side of this cut out. So thank you for watching so far. I'll go away and do these, and I will also ink the edges of all these pieces of paper so that that's all done ahead of time, and I'll see you shortly. Hello, and I have been gone for about 45 minutes. Doesn't seem like it, I know. I've fussy cut these out. It was a bit of a challenge. If you're not keen on fussy cutting, don't choose that one. This one, much easier. So I've also gone around the edges with a brush pen, and I work from the back so that if I smudge, it goes on the back, not on the front. And I just get rid of the white edges that way, or the majority of them. I think personally it's a step worth taking. I think it improves the overall look. I've decided I'm not going to have the blue, I'm going to stick with the pink. So the next thing we're going to do is stick these down, and I'm going to use glue stick. I'm going to work quite lightly because these are only printed onto ordinary copy paper. So if I pull or push too hard, it's going to rip. I don't need to go all the way over onto this blue one, so let's just and try and get every bit, because we want this to stick down really well. Okay, fingers crossed. And we're going to go, I want all the stalks right to the bottom. That'll do. And if I just use this bone folder just to smooth that down. I'm just going to let that dry a minute before I cut it. Let's do the other one. This one again is even more delicate, so bear with me while I do this. You can go back and re-glue the bits if you do miss any, but if you can get them all the first time, it does make life a lot easier. So these bits aren't right to the edge, those not so much. Okay. Just lightly going over that, and that looks really pretty already, I think. So let's trim the could almost use that on a small tag, so I might keep that bit. Okay, so there's our 2 tags. I've already inked the edges, but I'm just going to go over where the flowers and the stalk go over, just so that they're all in keeping as well. And the next thing we're going to do is add a bit of stamping, just for a bit of extra interest. I'm not using black on these tags, so I'm going to stamp in VersaFine Smoky Grey. And I would normally do, I'm going to stick to the postage stamps that we, are they stamps? No. I don't know what they're called. Those things that you stamp over, cancellation marks that you put over stamps. I'm going to stick to those that I used in the original. And we are going to overlap slightly onto the image. This, I think, is a Paper Artsy stamp. I'm not going to use a block because I'm not too worried about it stamping completely all over. I just want a little bit of it, really. So that adds some interest there. I think I'm just going to go back, put a bit more in this corner. And maybe this time just a little smidgen up here as well. Okay, and then we'll do this one. So we'll go down here. And here. And again, just a little smidgen at the top there. So we've got 3. 3 is always quite nice, actually. I did 2 on the original, but 3 is nice. And I just want to wipe my ink off here. I'd have needed to be more careful if we weren't making this into a pocket, because probably got ink marks on the back. Okay, so there we are, quite a good position. What I'm going to do now, these are the backs, and I've inked the outside of the back. And what I'm going to do now is stitch around 3 sides. So I quite like my pull to be from the right, probably because I'm right-handed. So all I'm going to do to help with this is this is 3-in-1 glue. I have thinned it down quite a lot. Sorry if my head's showing. Come on, come on. So you don't need it very much, but I just want to be able to hold these in place so that when I stitch them, they're tacked together well. And if that is slightly bigger, we can always trim that later. I was watching somebody else do a tutorial. Oh, it was Gail, and her glue was running out, and it was clearly frustrating her. Okay, so that's those done, and now I'm going away again to stitch, as I say, around 3 sides, and then I'll choose some bits to finish off and show you what I've chosen and why, and how I attach everything together. So join me again in a few minutes. Thank you. Right, I've been away, sorted some stuff out, had some tea, and now we're going to try and get these finished off. I have sort of sorted bits out, so I've stitched round, so I've got my pockets, and I really like how they're looking. I'm going to finish them off in quite a similar way. This one had some, as I said, it was double-sided, so the lace was showing through from the back, and I did want some lace on there, so I'm actually going to do it in a similar way. We're going to put it behind, and then just to finish off the front, we're going to put some sari silk or something on there, so we'll do that in a minute. The tabs, I had, if you remember, I cut a piece off here, and I'm going to use that as the tab for this one. So I've cut that piece down to 2 1/8, and then I've just used this little corner punch, ticket punch, to cut the corners out, and that's going to go on there. And for this one, I'm going to use Edith Holden paper, and what I did was cut a circle, I think it's about 1 7/8. I used a die cut, a circle die, and my Big Shot, because I don't have a 2-inch punch, but if you've got a 2-inch punch, that would be perfect for that. So we need two. This section might be a bit long, so hopefully not too dull. Need to ink these bits. So we'll do the tabs first to get those sorted. And for this one, I'm going to use Cosmic Shimmer Glue, which is a PVA, I believe. I'm just lining that up by eye, really. So I've used that line just to make sure I'm straight at the top there. And then we'll put this glue over here, and I'll put the eyelet in that once the glue has dried a little bit. You could do another line of stitching across, that would look quite nice. That's that one. And then this one, because I've used one circle, I'm going to have, my writing is going to be upside down on one side. If you want the writing the right way up, you'll need to cut 2 circles. Obviously use the top half of both of them. So we'll have the writing the right way up on the front. It's probably fairly obvious that we do that. Again, I'm just eyeballing it really. And then just line that one up with the other one. Okay, so I quite like the difference in the materials that we've used for that. Let's use some Fabri-Tac. Think about popping on this fabric. So this is an old lace collar that somebody gifted to me. I don't mind having plenty of glue on the back there because it's literally not going to show. And then for the front, I've got this pink piece here, which obviously matches beautifully. And I'm going to put not so much this time, and I'm going to just spread it with my finger so that we don't get too much of this glue seeping through, and I'm just going to crinkle that slightly as I put it on. I don't want it to look too perfect. And the same with this one. And this one is just a little bit long, so I'm just going to trim this down a little bit. Sorry, I was going straight for my waste bin then. Leave that raggedy edge. And the same with this one. That went a bit wrong, but I think we can rescue it okay. Okay, so that's those. So that looks pretty. And then I've downloaded these labels. I can't just remember who I got them from. It's a digital kit, but I'll look it up. Hopefully I'll be able to find it and put it underneath the description here. And I am going to add these labels on. I want that one to be that side, but it doesn't actually look right, so it's going to be better balanced that side. So let's glue those on. I've actually put the stickers onto quite thick card and then cut them out again and inked the edges. I like the way it makes it look more like a sort of chipboard piece, not too thin on there. On the original tag I'd put some lace at the top here, but I don't think I'm going to put it. I think we'll just leave it like this. I think there's enough decoration on these. So that's that one. And then for the inside tags, I've been through my Tsunami Rose printouts, and I've chosen these two. Just get some scrap paper. So I'm going to put glue on the back of this. Try and get right to the edges. I'm going to glue that onto there. And the same with this one. Oh, that one's not quite straight. It might look all right. Again, on the original one, I backed these with I think it was some Edith Holden paper. I'm not sure I'm going to do that this time. I don't want them to be too thick. And I've done that too far over, which is really annoying. This is now going to be a bit thinner, but you know, you can sort of rectify anything really. These are curling a bit at the moment because they're quite wet. Although it's glue stick, it is classed, I would class it as a wet glue. So it does make the paper curl a little bit, but that will, they will flatten out as they dry out. So I'm just rounding the corners. And we need to ink the edges. I will do front and back because I want these, these will probably go into a journal, so I would like them to have extra journaling space, which is why I'm not backing them. You absolutely could, of course. I mean, what might be nice would be some, maybe some ledger paper or something like that. But I'm just going to leave them as they are. And these circles are, I think it's a 1-inch punch that I've used. Yeah, 1-inch punch. So this is going to be the tabs on the sides of these. So we'll have the writing going sideways. And I'm just going to put these about halfway up. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 1, 2, 3, 4. So you can eyeball it, but it's about there. About halfway. So that one tones with that one. This one tones with this one, so that will slot into there. Should wait till it's a bit drier really, but we'll pop it in. And this one goes into here. What I will probably do is just pop a book on top of these just to weigh them down a little bit. Let's do our eyelets. I'm using my Crop-A-Dile. This is really quite a long video, so I hope you've liked it. The only bit I've got left to do is just to decorate, if I want to, is to decorate this label. I haven't quite decided, so I'm going to, on this one, I used a little bit of cloth and a Tim Holtz word and some staples, just grunged it up slightly. So I will just finish off doing that, and we'll be back to show you the end result and my extra tag. Okay, last tiny little bit. These are the finished tags. I haven't used staples this time. I've just cut a little bit of canvas to fit inside the label, and then I've used a Tim Holtz Chit Chat word, and I've just used Fabri-Tac on each of those. The reason I didn't staple them, I would have quite liked to have stapled the end, but I've used gold rings here, and I've only got silver staples, and that doesn't sit well with me, so we'll just leave those as they are. This is the second one. I might put a little bit of bling on, maybe. And this one I've just quickly put together using scraps. This piece of vintage paper was from a map reading book. Unfortunately, I've smudged the stamping a little bit, but I have this sort of scrap box, and this paper with the mauve type on it was sitting on the top, and of course it goes with this flower that I cut off here. So I've just popped that together just to show you how quickly and easily really it is to put some together. All these bits were literally out of my scrap box. Thank you very much for watching, and I hope this isn't too long, and I'll see you all again soon. Bye bye.